Hey everyone, today I've got the Conjuring 2 movie review. In Enfield, England, the Warrens take on another case that was potentially more sinister than their last one from the first Conjuring movie. So, is that really the case? So, as far as the story goes, James Wan directs this horror sequel, which I think in a way does surpass the first Conjuring film, which I actually found to be one of my favorites when that first came out, and I just loved it because of how authentic looking it was, and especially when it seemed to go back to how original horror should be made and how it sort of is a stepping stone for what horror should feel like, instead of having just really cheap scares and just silly moments. And I feel like a movie like The Conjuring 2, it definitely has this Babadook feel, and that was an authentic looking horror film that I found to be really unique. And in this movie, it's talking about another case from Ed and Lorraine Warren, and it sort of sets up the same way that it did for the first Conjuring film, where it talks about a completely unrelated case and before it goes into the main plot of the film. And this one is talking about the Amityville Horror. Now, I loved watching those films, and to bring it up in this film I thought was really surprising. So you get to see what Ed and Lorraine Warren were doing with this case. But I feel like after that, it really didn't involve itself at all through the rest of the movie, at least for the most part, except for maybe one little detail. I wouldn't say that was necessarily a bad thing, but I actually like that they brought that whole subject matter back, whether or not it was actually happening or not. The storyline as a whole for this movie, I thought it was really interesting to see another case about another possession or just like another haunting for another family, but this time it's moving all the way to England, and I thought that was really crazy to see how that all went down. It was not boring whatsoever. I was scared and invested in this movie from beginning to end. So as far as the casting goes, you've got Vera Farmiga, who returns as Lorraine Warren, and I feel like you get to see her getting more terrified this time around, and she's potentially more vulnerable this time, and I really liked her performance in this film, as well as Patrick Wilson, who plays Ed Warren, who I feel like actually gets more to do, which I found to be not the case for the first Conjuring film, and I really liked him. Once again, re-teaming with James Wan is always a plus to see, so I would definitely like to see more of him in films. You get to see this one family with this one girl who seems to have the most issues with the paranormal, and it's Madison Wolfe, who I thought did a really fantastic job being this young actress, and she's being put in all these really terrifying situations, and you see how vulnerable she is, and it is just crazy to watch, and it almost feels like the scenes from the first Conjuring film, or even from the Amityville Horror, and just movies like that, and where you see kids being more vulnerable, or even The Exorcist, because I know when this movie came out, I was definitely seeing some Exorcist vibes here, and it was just really terrifying. You've got Frances O'Connor, who plays the girl's mom, and of course the family with other kids. These situations playing out once again. And I thought she was also really good, even though I preferred Lily Taylor from the first Conjuring film, and I feel like maybe Frances O'Connor didn't do quite a good job, or it didn't really impress me as much, but I wouldn't really say that was her fault. So the things that I did like about this movie, bottom line, had me scared. I was freaking out. I had a hard time trying to go to sleep because of how scary this movie was. I was just terrified about looking at shadows or things in the dark, and especially with that antagonist, that person looking like a nun, and that was just so scary to see. I was just like, if I see a shadow in the corner, I am about to bust somebody up. Seriously. It was just really a suspenseful film. I would say it's just as scary as the first Conjuring film, if not scarier. And that's saying a lot because I'm a huge horror fan, and lately I have been getting scared by movies like this, so I'm actually glad that it did the job right. But unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about the film, I feel like there were some scenes that had some really cheesy looking CGI. It didn't really impress me as much. So I can't say that it really, I was taken out of the film at times with that. And like I said, I feel like there is a repetition of the plot from the first film where I'm seeing some similar scenes being played out and rehashed. So I can't say that this movie was completely original, but it does definitely have the James Wan style of filming, and the way he does horror, I think, is absolutely brilliant, so I commend him for that. And I think he's one of the best horror directors out there, so I really liked him for that aspect alone as well. So overall, I would say that The Conjuring 2 was just absolutely terrifying. I'm really glad that I saw it. I should have seen the first Conjuring movie and then this, but I figured I don't want to be scared two times in a row. That would probably just kill me. So I would highly recommend seeing this film. I guarantee you will be scared. So I will give this 4 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of The Conjuring 2. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates coming every week for a Chill Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And I will see you guys later.